every choice made has led to this.
12 years after it began with the 2008 feature-length movie Star Wars The Clone Wars returned in 2020. In its final season, the show manages to tie up some loose ends, continue its excellent character development, deliver the best animated Star Wars action yet, and ultimately bring a touching, emotional and epic conclusion to George Lucas's Star Wars saga. After running for 5 seasons on Cartoon Network, Disney cancelled The Clone Wars, most likely as they wanted to run a separate Star Wars show on their own network. This meant the then final season of The Clone Wars, Season 6, was put out on Netflix. The show Disney wanted to make would eventually become Star Wars Rebels, a series set only a few years before A New Hope, that shows the beginning of a galaxy-wide rebellion. Much of the Clone Wars overhanging threads, like the fates of Maul, Captain Rex and Ahsoka Tano, were ultimately brought into Rebels, and there's no denying that because of that, some of the emotional weight to the Clone Wars final season has been taken away. But that doesn't mean that Clone Wars is devoid of any stakes or emotion. In fact, thanks to the inclusion of Order 66, the emotional weight and the sense of impending doom, the drama of ending a years-long conflict has never been more present in the series. The final season of The Clone Wars revolves around 3 arcs. The first, which in true Clone Wars style is chronologically the second, shows the Bad Batch, who are a squad of defective clones deemed to have favourable mutations. The arc follows the Bad Batch working alongside Rex and Anakin Skywalker as they infiltrate Skako Minor, the home planet of the separatist-aligned Techno Union. The team goes behind enemy lines in an attempt to uncover how the separatists are matching their every move in the Outer Rim sieges. Episodes 5 to 8 show Ahsoka Tano adjusting to life after leaving the Jedi Order in Season 5. After crash landing onto Coruscant's level 1313, Ahsoka meets the Martez sisters Trace and Rafa. She quickly becomes embroiled in one of Rafa's schemes that sees the trio head to the spice mines of Kessel, imprisoned by the Pike crime gang, and encounter a rogue group of Mandalorians. The final arc of the series brings both plots together, by reuniting Ahsoka with Anakin and Obi-Wan to stop Maul, who has returned to Mandalore. In Maul's timeline, this arc follows the Darth Maul Son of Dathomir comic that was based on unproduced Clone Wars episodes. There we see him escape Palpatine and Dooku and the death of Mother Talzin. In short, the final season of The Clone Wars emphasises how far the series has come, both in terms of style and action, but also in regards to character development and the emotional stakes the show has established. Characters like Anakin, Obi-Wan and Mace Windu have been altered to better suit their appearance in Revenge of the Sith, given that the series leads straight into and then runs alongside the third movie. This shows the care and dedication that went into the final season, which shows that The Clone Wars is just as much a part of Star Wars as anything else. Only adding to the show looking its best is the best action animated Star Wars has delivered yet. Almost every episode is packed with amazing clone fights and stunning lightsaber combat. Adding to that sense of care and appreciation, the team even had Ray Park, Darth Maul's original actor from The Phantom Menace, return to motion capture Maul's epic fight with Ahsoka in Episode 10, The Phantom Apprentice. But ultimately, in terms of characters, as good as the development on hundreds of individual clones is, and no matter how many great stories starring Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu or Yoda the Clone Wars has delivered, the real heart of everything the Clone Wars is Ahsoka Tano. And the final season gives her the perfect send-off. The final part of the series shows Ahsoka, after defeating Maul on Mandalore, and although no longer a Jedi, forced to take on an entire galactic cruiser's worth of soldiers. Made even worse is that many of them still wear their painted armour, which was done days earlier to show their respect for Ahsoka. The final few episodes of The Clone Wars push Ahsoka even further from the hero of The Clone Wars she was, and more into the hero of that early rebellion she will become, all whilst keeping her sense of honour and courage despite the galaxy falling apart around her. Ahsoka's journey is the best thread throughout all of The Clone Wars, and she is perhaps the most developed character in all of Star Wars. Admittedly, a large part of that is due to the amount of time spent with her, but that takes nothing away from the achievement in its own right. Ahsoka started as a Jedi youngling and someone who arguably felt like a more approachable character for the younger audience. But throughout 7 seasons, later appearances in Rebels, a voice cameo in The Rise of Skywalker, and her own novel, has become one of the most interesting, compelling, layered and tragic characters in the entire franchise. How the series intersects with Revenge of the Sith is also expertly done. The final few episodes show Anakin and Obi-Wan called away to Coruscant right before helping Ahsoka on Mandalore. Not only does this explain why the likes of Ahsoka, Rex and Maul were absent from Revenge of the Sith, and the parts of Order 66 seen in the movie, but it adds a touching sense of drama to those final moments between Ahsoka, Anakin and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan even calls Ahsoka while on his way to capture Grievous in Revenge of the Sith in the hopes that she can talk to Anakin while he struggles with his mission to spy on the Chancellor. This helps emphasize how important Ahsoka is to Anakin and even puts forward the question on whether she had contacted and helped him, would he have turned to the dark side? In Ahsoka's arc with the Martez sisters, the show is also able to demonstrate how regular people feel towards the Jedi and the Clone War, something the series has dabbled with before, but this time it's amplified by Ahsoka's own experiences and feelings. Not only does this work well in the moment, but the Martez sisters' negative feelings towards the Jedi also plays into how well Palpatine's plan had worked, and how the people of the galaxy could accept the Jedi as traitors so easily. As much as The Rise of Skywalker was and still is marketed as the end of the Skywalker saga, in reality the Clone Wars is the final piece of George Lucas's vision for the franchise, or at least is part of it. Most of Season 7 was written before the show was cancelled, and so was overseen by the Star Wars creator. There is something special about seeing the "created by George Lucas" tag at the beginning of the credits, and even more so the special Lucasfilm Limited production intro for the final arc. Although Lucas is no longer directly involved in the story of Star Wars, it's fair to say the franchise has become even rockier and audience dividing since Disney took over. And so seeing the end to his tenure properly envisioned adds an extra sense of emotion and depth to a great season and a great show.